never read your books, but what book should you recommend to start?
Well, The Postman is my most famous book.
Okay.
Because of Kevin Costner's movie.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner made a movie of my book, The Postman, and it is in 25 languages around the world. So, and it is also one of my books that is less science fiction. It is post-apocalypse after a disaster, but it is more optimistic because it is about citizenship. And the hero reminds people to rebuild civilization. So it's people who rebuild, not one hero.
Oh, do you think I should read it in English, in original language, or?
Well, I don't know how good your translation is. What is your language?
My native language is Russian, but I'm learning English, as you can see.
Well, I read The Postman in French, after I wrote it in English, and it helped me to learn French.
And
so why don't you read it in both languages?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
And
one of my most famous books is Startide Rising, and it is about dolphins in space.
In space.
So this is more science fiction, real far future, and 150 dolphins and 5 humans and 1 chimpanzee have adventures in far distant future space. I also have books that are more about the near future. These are books really for grown-ups, like my novel Earth and Existence. And these speculate about very near future things, like whether we can keep freedom and whether we can keep this planet.
Okay, what do you think about St. Petersburg comparing your city?
Well, I live in a very warm place, but I came to St. Petersburg from the Arctic. So St. Petersburg is actually very nice.
But cold.
It's cold, but it's not as cold as the Arctic. Okay. So St. Petersburg is a very beautiful city.
And where are you living?
Krasny. We live in California.
California. It's hot now.
Well, not now. It's not hot, but it is getting warm.
Getting warm.
Yeah.
What do you think about Stephen King?
Stephen King is a nice fellow. I've met him.
Is it near your books or?
Well, no. Stephen King likes to write horror stories, whereas I am a little bit more optimistic.
He wrote science fictions like London Years.
Yes, but I write more. There is more science in my books, and a little more optimism.
Okay. And this is for me.
Oh well, Nikolai. That's with an AY at the end, right?
Yes.
AY, and it has a K.
Yes.
What is your top 3 books? Not your books. You think that everyone must read?
Of mine?
Not your.
Oh, not mine.
Your top.
Inside in Nautschnea Fantastica, in science fiction, or in general?
In general. The best 5 books you think?
I think a very important book right now is by author Steven Pinker. He shows how many good things are happening in the world. So he has 2 books recently, Pinker, Pinker. He has 2 recent books that show that many wonderful and good things are happening in the world, and that we need confidence. We have to believe that we can make the world better. And if we just talk about the negative all the time, we know there's a lot of negative. We know about climate change.
It's not fiction,
it's non-fiction. Pinker, there's another fellow named Diamandis, Diamandis. These people are writing books about how we need to be optimistic, because only then can we really solve our problems. If we think that everything is going to hell, then it makes us lazy.
So he wrote that we should be
These
more
these
optimistic.
two men wrote these two books, Pinker
And-
and Diamandis. They are very important books.
Never heard.
Yes,
American.
well, they're American, yes. Of course, they're optimists, so they're Americans. You know, but most Americans are not optimists anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good luck.